The real challenge in modern warfare isn't just developing incredible technology, it's actually training our people to truly master it.
Absolutely. I mean, think about the sheer sophistication of today's defense systems.
It's a seriously steep learning curve.
Right, and we're seeing this growing complexity that makes rapid, effective training, well, it's a critical bottleneck for maintaining military readiness.
And that brings us perfectly to our deep dive today. We're looking at a new initiative in France. They're tackling this head-on, leveraging spatial AI and XR, extended reality, like VR and AR, specifically for their defense training.
Yeah, and our information primarily comes from a press release put out by EON Reality detailing this program.
So our mission today, if you will, is to really understand how France is aiming to revolutionize its military training using this approach.
Exactly. We want to dig into how spatial AI and XR are being deployed to boost efficiency, speed up learning, and ultimately help France maintain its strategic edge in a pretty complex world.
Okay, let's get into it. France has made some serious investments lately in its defense capabilities.
Oh, definitely.
We're talking about major programs like the Scorpion Network-Centric Warfare Initiative.
That's a big one.
The advanced Rafale F-4 fighter jets, the brand new FDI frigates, and even looking ahead to the future FCAS aircraft development.
That's a significant commitment, no question. And with these advanced systems, many designed specifically by France.
Right, uniquely French.
The challenge becomes, how do you rapidly equip personnel with the skills they need, to operate and maintain this stuff effectively?
Is this what the press release calls the advanced skills chasm?
Precisely. That gap between the technology sophistication and, well, how fast you can realistically train people on it.
And I suppose traditional training methods, they have their limits here.
They really do. They can be incredibly time-consuming. Replicating complex, realistic combat scenarios with live equipment. That's expensive and potentially dangerous.
Yeah, you can't just simulate everything easily in the real world.
Not easily, and not safely. Plus, there's this growing need to develop skills relevant to an AI-driven environment. That's a whole new layer.
And on top of all that, France puts a huge emphasis on its strategic autonomy, its self-reliance in defense.
Maintaining their sovereign defense industrial base, the BITD. They want control over their own defense tech and production.
So depending on others for training, especially on your most sensitive, cutting-edge tech.
It doesn't really align with that core principle.
Yes.
No. This initiative with EON Reality looks like a direct response to all these factors.
Okay, so the solution France is adopting is this AI Academy for Defense French Strategic Readiness Track. It's being provided by EON Reality.
Yeah, and EON Reality is positioned as a leader in AI-assisted VR and AR for knowledge transfer. That's their specialty.
What's really interesting here, you mentioned spatial AI. How does that fit in? It sounds more than just VR goggles.
It is. Think of spatial AI as the sort of brain behind the simulation. It understands the 3D virtual environment. It tracks how users interact within it. And that allows the system to create these really realistic scenarios and, crucially, personalize the learning experience based on what the training is actually doing in that virtual space.
So it adapts.
It adapts. It's not just about looking around at VR. It's about intelligent, adaptive training that responds to the learner.
And they've brought in some big partners for this.
They have. The French Ministry of Armed Forces, the DGA, that's the Defense Procurement Agency, key military training commands like École Militaire.
And major French defense companies too, right? Thales, Naval Group, Dassault Aviation, MBDA.
Exactly. That suggests a really strong coordinated commitment across the board.
That kind of collaboration seems essential to make sure the training actually matches what France needs, their specific equipment, and how they operate.
Vital. Absolutely vital for relevance and doctrine alignment.
All right, let's break down the core components of what EON Reality is offering. Starting with the EON XR platform itself, what's its main job?
So the EON XR platform is the foundation. It's what enables the creation and delivery of these highly realistic interactive 3D training simulations.
Of actual French military gear?
Yes. So you could virtually operate a Scorpion vehicle, maybe sit in the cockpit of a Rafale, walk around the deck of an FDI frigate, all within a detailed, interactive virtual environment.
Now, here's a part that really jumped out at me. This breakthrough spatial AI text-to-XR capability. That sounds fast.
It's designed to be incredibly fast. The concept is you take French technical manuals, maybe operational procedures, or even just text prompts written in French.
Okay.
And the AI converts that text into an interactive XR learning module. The press release claims this can happen in under 80 seconds.
Under 80 seconds. Seriously.
That's the claim. If true, it massively accelerates content creation.
That directly tackles that skills chasm problem we were talking about. You get new equipment, new procedures.
And you can generate the training material almost instantly. It means training can be updated practically in real time. That gives France a huge edge in adapting, something traditional methods just can't match.
That speed is a potential game changer. And they mentioned security, too, deploying within secure French government clouds or even on-premise.
Right, addressing those critical data sovereignty and security concerns head-on, which is essential for defense applications.
Okay, so that's the platform. Then there's the Specialized AI Academy for Defense French Strategic Readiness Track itself.
Yeah, this is the more structured workforce development program. It's specifically aligned with French defense priorities, like their military programming law, the LPM.
And this program uses those XR simulations we just talked about, like practicing Scorpion maneuvers or operating Rafale systems.
Exactly. It takes those simulations and integrates them with AI-driven personalized learning paths.
So the AI figures out what each trainee needs.
That's the idea. It tailors the training to the individual's progress, their learning style, making sure they develop really robust practical skills. They also mentioned granting French micro-credentials through this.
So formal recognition of the skills learned.
Which could be really valuable for career progression, both within the military and potentially transitioning to the defense industry later on. It strengthens that whole talent pipeline.
Interesting. They also touch on EON Career Guide and Compass tools. What are those about?
Sounds like the AI isn't just for training, but also for career management. These tools are designed to help personnel explore different career paths within the French military.
Like a guidance counselor.
Sort of an AI-powered one, yeah. Helping them benchmark their skills against required qualifications, like those set by the DGA, and visualize how they can develop professionally.
So it connects the training to the bigger picture of their career.
Precisely. And all of this feeds into what they're calling an AI-era French military curriculum. It's clearly meant to be more than just adding VR to existing courses.
A fundamental rethink.
It seems so. And what's significant is who is developing this curriculum. It's a collaboration between French military experts from the DGA and the service branches and industry leaders like Thales and Dassault.
So the people who build the systems and the people who use them are shaping the training.
Exactly. And the focus isn't just on button pushing, the technical skills for one platform. It's broadening out to critical areas like network-centric operations. Scorpion is the prime example there.
Right, everything connected.
Human AI teaming, which is huge for the future. Managing complex information flows, making decisions in these multi-domain scenarios, all aligned with French doctrine and their focus on being able to deploy forces effectively.
Okay, so if this all comes together as planned, what are the big advantages for France? For their defense posture, their strategic autonomy?
The potential benefits listed are pretty substantial. First off, significantly accelerated readiness for those key programs. Scorpion, Rafale, F4, FDI frigates. They're talking potential reductions in training time of up to 60%.
60%, that's massive.
And they project that personnel could actually master the necessary skills up to 4 times faster.
4 times faster, wow. That translates to a dramatic increase in operational efficiency.
It really would. And it directly bolsters that strategic autonomy we keep mentioning by creating this self-sufficient advanced training capability.
They become less reliant on anyone else for training on their own unique systems.
Exactly. Which perfectly supports their goal of a strong domestic defense industrial base, that BITD.
Makes sense. What about the quality of training, proficiency?
They expect to see superior proficiency on these complex systems. They're aiming for higher qualification rates, the release mentions over 95%, and better performance, especially in those complex networked operations. Plus, better knowledge retention.
And safety must be a huge factor in military training.
Absolutely critical. And this XR approach allows for completely risk-free simulations. You can practice high-risk procedures, dangerous scenarios.
Without any danger to personnel or expensive equipment.
Correct. The release even hints, within security protocols, of course, that this could apply to aspects related to their strategic deterrent. It eliminates the inherent risks of live training exercises.
And does it save money in the long run?
Well, the projection suggests potential life cycle training cost savings of up to 65% for these advanced platforms.
65%? That would free up significant resources in the defense budget.
It would be a substantial return on investment, yes.
Looking beyond the immediate benefits, this whole initiative feels like it's positioning France for, well, the the future of warfare.
I think that's a key takeaway. By deliberately emphasizing these AI-era competencies, network-centric ops, human-machine teaming, they're actively building a force that's better prepared for the evolving tech landscape.
And better prepared for deployment.
That too. It should enhance their ability to rapidly train personnel for overseas deployments, coalition operations, strengthening that expeditionary capability they value.
It really does sound like a fundamental shift, not just an add-on.
It feels that way. I mean, the ability to generate specific training content almost instantly in French and accelerate the learning curve by potentially 4 times. That's a major leap compared to how things have traditionally been done.
The chairman of EON Reality, Dan Lidgerskar, had a quote in the release. What stood out to you there?
He really emphasized France's commitment to strategic autonomy and how innovative training like this is crucial to keep pace with their advanced tech. He specifically hit on that 4 times faster learning potential for complex systems.
Yeah, that speed element again.
And framed the whole thing as equipping French forces with essential AI-era skills, not just for their own national security, but also contributing to broader European defense efforts.
Right. So bringing this deep dive toward a close, the key takeaway seems to be that France is making a really significant strategic move here.
Definitely. Investing heavily in modernizing defense training with Spatial AI and XR.
And the clear goals are faster, safer, more effective skill development, all aimed at strengthening that core principle of strategic autonomy and maintaining a technological advantage.
Yes, and those headline figures, content creation in under 80 seconds, learning potentially 4 times faster, those are the truly transformative aspects to watch.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener. How might this kind of integration, AI and XR, start to reshape military training and strategic capabilities for other nations?
Yeah, what are the wider implications when you can transfer knowledge this rapidly in such critical high-stakes environments?
Definitely something to think about. If you want more details on this specific initiative, you can check out EON Reality's website at www.eonreality.com.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.